Hello there everyone, this is Brother Birch. In this video I'm going to go through how to set up our WDD 130 repository on GitHub and how to publish this as a website that we could share with anyone. I'll go through it pretty quickly, knowing that you guys can slow the video down or pause and go back as much as you need to. First things first, so I have VS Code open. I don't have a folder open, but I'm going to open a folder. So on my computer I have a folder called Git. And I put just all of my projects in here. And so I'm just going to make a new folder, let's say new folder, and I'll just call this WDD 130 test. Okay, just because I already have a 130 folder. You should call yours just WDD 130 if you haven't done this already. I'm just going to drag this over into VS Code, and that'll open this up right here. And I'm just going to make a very simple index.html file, and I'm just going to put a little bit of code in here. I'll call this my home page. And I'll just say, just put in an H1 and say, this is my home page. Okay, and then I'm just gonna run this in live server. We can just look at this, and here is what that looks like. Okay, nice simple home page. Let's go ahead and just make one more web page. I'm gonna call this byui.edu. Whoops. byui.html. Okay, and then in here we'll just say, call this BYUI page. I'll put an H1 here that says, this is my student page. And then I'm going to put a link back to my home page. I'll say go home. And then I'm also going to put a link on here that'll go to BYUI. I'll say go to BYUI student page. Okay, and now if I look over here, you can see I have this link, and I should be able to click on it and actually go to that page, and I can navigate back and forth. So I have my little website. Now let's put it on GitHub and publish it as a website. So first things first, I'm going to click on this source control thing over here and say Initialize Repository. Now to do this, I have to have Git installed, and I'm going to have GitHub, a GitHub account. So first, I'm just going to say git download. You go to this link, git-scm.com/downloads. Download it for your operating system. For Macs, go ahead and just download this binary installer. When you open it, you'll have to right-click on it and say open. Otherwise, it won't let you open it because it's not a trusted package. But go ahead and download that. When you're installing it, just go through all the defaults. You don't have to change anything. Just go through all the defaults when you're installing it. For GitHub, you'll just go to github.com. You'll click on this nice big green button to just sign up for GitHub. Use your BYUI email just because then if you want to take advantage of the student benefits that you have later on, you can, okay? But you'll go ahead and make an account. Once you have an account, you should see something like this when you sign in, okay? You probably won't have a list of repositories over here. You might not have stuff here, but this is what it looks like when you sign in, okay? Now, the last thing, well, a couple more things. So one, after I've installed Git, I need to close VS Code and reopen it. Otherwise, none of these buttons will work because it won't be able to know where Git is. You have to close VS Code after you've installed Git. And then the last thing, git user config, you will need to run these two commands in the terminal. And so what I would do, I'm just going to copy those, and I'm just going to press Control or Command N to open up a new file. I'm just going to paste those. I don't want this $sign there. I want to start with Git. I'm going to change this to my name, and I'm going to change this email to my BYUI email address that I signed up for GitHub with. Okay. What I'm going to do then, I have my folder open, my WDD 130 folder, and so I'm just going to click on Terminal, say New Terminal. And then in here, I'm just going to copy these one at a time. So I'll copy this, and I'll just paste it here and run it by hitting Enter. And then I'll copy this, paste it here, and run it by hitting Enter. Now, if you're not prompted right now, you will be prompted to authorize GitHub on your computer. It might happen when you actually try to make a change. Okay. So what I'm going to do, now that I have all that set up, I'm going to click on Source Control and say Initialize Repository. Now it shows that these have green U's, which means I just created them. I can see these files are also green. I could click on either one of them and see what used to be there and what is there now. The green means that I just created it. Okay, and I'm just going to type in a message and I'll just say first commit. All right, and I'll hit Command Enter. I can also just hit this check mark, and then I'm going to say Publish Branch. I want to publish this to a public GitHub repository. And you might have seen two other pop-ups. One that says, hey, when you make a commit, when I click this check mark, do you want to add files automatically? You can just say always when you do that. And then the other pop-up you'll see is saying, hey, do you want to authorize GitHub? You'll click on yes, it'll open up your browser, and you'll hit the big green button to authorize that. After you've done that, I should be able to go back to GitHub, and I'm just going to click on my repositories, and I should see this new WDD 130 test updated 28 seconds ago, and I have this code here. Okay, pretty slick. I can look at my code. I can see all the code that I just put up here. To get this published as a website, I just click on Settings. Okay, my WDD 130 test settings in this repository. I'll click on Pages, and then I'll just say, hey, I want to use this branch, and I'll just hit Save. Okay, so wherever I set my code up to, and then it'll say, oh, your site is ready to be published here, and it'll show me a nice 404 page for about 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, while we're waiting, let me show you what it looks like if I want to make a change to my code. All right, right here, let's say I want to change this index page. Let's say I want to add a style folder. So I'll just say styles, and I'll add a new file there that says style.css, and I'll just say body, text, align, center, and we'll say background color is aqua. Actually, let's make it a little bit more gentle than that. We'll go with that. Okay, and I'll save that. I can still look at this with live server. It hasn't changed at all. I'm just going to go ahead and link up that style sheet. And so right here, I'm just going to take that out. I'll say /, go to styles, hit enter. And then I'm going to copy that and paste that exact same thing right here. Okay. Now if I go back to the browser, now we have that nice blue home page. It's all centered up nicely. Okay, so I changed both those files. Those show as yellow, and then I made this new folder with that new file in it. And so if I click here, I should be able to see what the change was. I added that style sheet, and apparently I added an empty line. I'm just going to delete that. I don't want it. Okay, and then I can go over to this file. I can see I just added that line, and then I have that style sheet. And so for my commit message, I'll just say adding simple styles to both pages. Okay, something descriptive. Again, I'll hit that check mark, and this time all I have to do is just hit sync changes. I won't have any additional pop-ups. I'll come over here to GitHub. Let me just go back. I'll just go to GitHub real fast. Let me find my repository. Now you can see I have 2 commits. One was 19 seconds ago. Both of these were changed. I can click on this commit and see exactly what was changed. That's showing up in green, so is that, so is this entire file. Okay, so I can see everything that changed on that commit. And then, meanwhile, I'm going to hit refresh here, and my website is showing up. Okay, there's the URL. You could open this up right now on your computer if you wanted to. It's not showing up as blue yet. Again, it'll take a minute or two. Now that my website's up and running, it might only take another minute or two for it to actually load those changes. Yeah, there they are, just like that. Okay. So anytime I want to make changes to my website, all I have to do is just hit that check mark on that commit box and then say sync, and my update will be up to date within another minute or two. So anyways, I know that was quick. I hope it helps. If you have any questions, please post on the Help and Extra Credit channel. Thanks.